everyone. Welcome to From London with Love with me, Lin Clive on ALBUK TV. Imagine throwing yourself on a platform 10 meters above a pool. Just terrifying, isn't it? For most people, especially for me. But it's not the case for my guest. My guest is a top international diver who represented Great Britain, Tia McGarry. Hello, Tia.
Hi.
Thank you for being with us today.
No problem.
How's everything in Sheffield? I know you're joining us from Sheffield.
Yes, I am. Yeah, everything's okay. It's a bit rainy today, but everything's okay. Yeah.
Because we're back to winter. It's still August.
I know it's crazy, but you can't control the weather. Definitely not in Sheffield.
Yeah. So before we get into your particular sport, Tia, I want you to tell me more about the challenges for athletes during COVID. So what do you think the challenges are?
So I think obviously during coronavirus, everything is shut down. All of the venues where all of the athletes train across the country from all disciplines. So that alone has been difficult because a lot of athletes see their sort of venue where they train day in, day out as a second home. I know that a lot of people from Sheffield diving are really struggling because one, you're not able to see your second family, and two, you're not able to go to a venue which is literally like a home because you're there the same amount as you are at your own personal home. So I think that's definitely a challenge, obviously, for diving especially, without the boards and without all of that sort of poolside scenery with the diving boards and obviously the dry gym with the trampolines and things like that. It's really hard for us to train because it's not just a physical sport, it's also a mental sport. So it's okay doing workouts at home, but without the sort of thrill of personally chucking myself off a 10-meter board, as people like to say, I don't get that sort of mental training as well as physical training. So it's very, very difficult.
So I think for you in particular, are you trying to cope with it in a way of like trying to exercise by yourself without, I know the facilities are not there yet, but how are you coping with it?
So it's been very difficult. At the start of lockdown, as a team and as a club, Sheffield Diving put in place to do Zoom workouts. So we'd get together with our squad and we'd do workouts together, obviously online, like a conference call, exactly like this, which to a degree helps. It helps every athlete within the squad because it brings some form of normality back to training and back to training within a squad because that's so important. But without the facility and without actually being with your teammates, it's extremely difficult because you just want that team morale and it's not there on a conference call because you're working out so hard, you're all sweating and panting and stuff from workouts. So yeah, it is extremely difficult, very, very difficult.
So Tia, for people who don't know, what is platform diving? Just if you can give us more of an idea about it.
Yeah, definitely. So in diving as a whole, you have springboard diving and specialising, which is my discipline. It ranges from 5 metre, 7 metre and 10 metre. I dive on 10 metre and it consists of, for women, it's a 5-dive list. So we'll do 5 dives from all different directions, forwards, back, reverse and inward. And twist and handstand also. And then for men, it's 6. And then the other discipline is springboard, and that ranges from 1 metre and 3 metre. However, 1 metre is not in the Olympics, so that really isn't focused on an international stage. It's only really national. But yeah, that's pretty much what diving is. So it's really fun to watch, actually.
Do you know, Tia, we are watching now, the viewers watching some of your photos look amazing. It's just
thank
like
you.
It's amazing fun. Does it hurt when you hit the water?
It does, yeah. So 10-metre divers can reach speeds up to 40 miles per hour during the air. So when you hit in the water, you might not think it, but it feels like concrete when you hit it pretty hard. So
have you ever had any injury because of it?
I haven't personally, but I know many people. My old coach, he was saying that he broke a few ribs or something like that, and you can cough up blood and things like that. So it can be pretty serious in some cases for some people. But luckily, and fingers crossed, that doesn't happen to me. So
fingers crossed, doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Tia, you what you looking for, or what do you call a perfect dive? So what are the categories?
Oh yeah, so a judge typically, when they're looking at a dive, when they're judging any stage from obviously junior elites, novice diving, all the way up to what I perform at senior national level and international level, you have 3 different stages. So you have when you stood on a board, your presentation, do you look good? Does this person that you're watching look professional? Are they stood in the correct positions? Things like finger form, are the fingers together, arms straight, legs straight, all that stuff. All the way through to air flight. So when you're in the air, does the diver look straight? Do they look in line? Does everything about the dive look graceful? And then when you hit in the water, your entry position. So obviously, are you in the correct position hitting the water? Are you straight enough? How big is your splash? And all of them things are factored into a 1 out of 10 sort of score. 10 being the best, 1 being obviously not so great. But you can also dip below that. Obviously, if you hit the water horizontal, you then get a failed dive, which is a 0.
Okay, and because I know lots about you, I just want to share it all with our viewers. You have great achievements. Tell us about it, national and international.
Yes, I will do. So thank you very much for that. So I started diving when I was 10. The first title that I got was in 2012, I believe, at the national age groups. I came second on 3-meter springboard. I then dabbled in and out of the sport due to injuries, and then I came back in 2014. National title at junior elites in 2014, and that was brilliant. In fact, no, I came second at that one, and then I went on to my first ever international competing for England, and I came second there. That was in Rome. It was stunning. And then I had another injury which set me back a year actually. So I had a full year out of the sport. I then came back in 2016 and I won a national title in Barcelona, and that was just girls group B platform, I believe. Then I came onto my senior career. Last year in 2019, I came 4th at the British National Championships, and that was incredible. Never could have imagined doing that.
Well, tell me about your feeling.
Yeah, it was amazing. Honestly, I always get nervous no matter what competition it is. Even now, at 21 years old, since doing it since I was 10, I still get so nervous to stand up there and do it, and especially at them senior nationals, because there's cameras everywhere. There's GoPros at the back of the boards. There's a big TV crew like there when you come out of the water. So it's honestly such a phenomenal experience, but it's so good and it's so worth it. So that was last year. And then in that same year, and I went to Ukrainian national championships, and I actually won, and I'm still the reigning champion of that. So that's really happy. I'm really happy that I've done that. So yeah, I'm over the moon.
I can't stop you. I want you to share it all because what you did is incredible. I want to ask you about the qualities required for a platform diver in terms of like physically and also psychology.
Yeah, definitely. So as an athlete, obviously, because I came through the sport very young, the mentality of the sport was sort of drilled into me that, like, you have to be brave, you have to trust your coach. I feel like for an athlete to be successful, they have to have a really good relationship with the coach. And I feel like that's really important because you are stood up there on your own and it's scary and your brain does a million and one things in a second. And when you stood up there and you've got 10 meters to hit the water, all you can think about is all the things that are going to go wrong. And as an athlete, I still struggle with it. I feel like everyone does, no matter how many international stages and how many competitions they've been to. Every athlete still struggles, even that tiny bit. But I think to make a top world-class athlete, one, a relationship with your coach, a really strong one at that, where you can both work together and work through them hard times is so important. But even more so, the strength and conditioning is also very important. I'm lucky enough to be on a scholarship program where the strength and conditioning is provided to me. So I work closely with the team at Sheffield Hallam, and they set programs for us monthly, weekly, and then we review it every so often to make sure that we're on the right track. So that's really important because you need that core strength to be able to achieve everything that you need to achieve, even just in one single dive. So really important.
Quite lots of dedication from you, and I'm sure like that will affect even your lifestyle. So how? Tell me a bit more about your lifestyle, like early mornings, or is it everyday training? So how do you go about it?
For me and my squad, obviously it ranges, depends on like what place you hold within the diving club. But for me, being a senior national diver and an international diver, I train 6 days a week. And at the minute, I'm on a placement. So when I finished either uni or when I finished placement, I jet straight down to Ponds Forge and I get straight into the pool and I train until 7 o'clock at night. So that's really intense. I don't have much social time. And then we train on weekends as well. So it is really intense. Not much social time at all, but I'm used to it now.
Yeah. Been doing it for a long time. Do you need to have like a certain diet, or it's just like the exercise has matter?
So a bit of both, really. As an athlete, it's really important that you watch what you eat, as anyone would really say. I think everyone needs to eat healthy and watch their nutrition. So for an athlete, it's especially important, but not strict. It's not strict. Obviously, every athlete is their own individual, and if they want to be the best, it's up to them to put them sort of boundaries in place. I know that I want to achieve the best and I want to reach all my goals that I've set since I was 10 years old. So in order to do that, nutrition and keeping healthy and keeping my mind healthy, because I feel like a healthy diet keeps your mind healthy as well, is really important. But yeah, definitely that alongside the strength training, it really, really helps to be a top performance athlete. So yeah.
But now we're talking about your aims and targets. So what are they in terms of study and in terms of sport?
Okay, so since I was 10, since I started the programme and started diving, I've always wanted to achieve Commonwealths or the Olympics. I came from a talent identification programme which was called DNA 2020. So technically we were meant to be trained up from 10 years old to go to the 2020 Olympics. Obviously, depending on what career path we chose, so if we wanted to go to university, then sorts of things might change. So for me, obviously 2020 is not an option because I have final year in 2020, so that's really important.
You're doing biomedical science degree?
Yes, yeah, I'm doing biomedical science. So I'll finish that next year. So 2020, it's a bit far-fetched for me. I think obviously future Olympics and future Commonwealth Games would definitely be my target. That's definitely what I'm going for. Fingers crossed. But yeah, in terms of study and education, I'm on currently I'm enrolled at Sheffield Hallam for biomedical science. I'm in my second year at the minute, which is classified as my placement year. So I go on to final year next year, so that's going to be really exciting. So I'm hoping to finish that with some good grades. So we'll see.
Really well. Tell me about your placement, Tia. So where are you doing your placement?
So I'm doing my placement currently at the Sheffield Children's Hospital in haematology. That's really exciting.
So when you finish, you want to work in a lab?
Yes, I'm hoping so. I love working at the Sheffield Children's Hospital. I think all the staff there are amazing, what they do day in, day out. And as a placement student, it's so important that you get to see them sorts of things, because you don't actually realise like what happens when you have a blood sample, where it goes, and all them different types of things, all the blood transfusions. It's all so important, but so exciting. So yeah, I really loved it, and I'm hoping to work in a lab in the future, definitely.
So you had an award for being able to balance between your studies and also being an athlete. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so actually last week I found out that I got nominated for this incredible award that I never ever would have thought I would have been nominated for, not with the immense amount of athletes across the country which are on this scholarship programme, because they're all so amazing. But yeah, and then I found out 2 days later that I'd won it. So it's all to do with dual career athletes, which is me involved. So a dual career athlete is when you have two separate careers. So obviously I have my diving career and I have my education, which is a career also. So yeah, that award was really lovely to win, because it showcased the hard work and the effort that gets put in, not only just this year, but the previous years as well, when I've been in education. So it was really nice to be recognised for that, definitely.
So Tia, firstly, congratulations.
Thank you.
For people who will be watching, they will think it's admiring what you are doing, like being able to balance between two careers. But tell us about like the pressure you have. Tell us, how do you have like kind of a bit of mental difficulties sometimes, or do you have I don't know, challenges? Tell us about the challenges and difficulties and how you overcome them.
Definitely. I think anyone in life comes across challenges, no matter what you do. But for athletes, it's especially difficult because sometimes when you get to competitions, you might not feel ready. I know for national championships, I don't think I've ever felt ready for that competition or any competition. Obviously, doing my university alongside my competitions, it makes it even harder because I can't do the fundamental training that everyone else can do across the country, which is it's hard for me as an athlete to think of. But you have to stay positive, and that's why I work so closely with my coach, and we have such a good relationship, because he always encourages me and strives me to keep going and tells me that I'm going to be good enough, and no matter what I do, I've achieved so much already. So to be proud of myself, and I think that's so important. But yes, definitely, even when I go to training and I've just finished work and I've had the worst day at work or the toughest day at work, and then I have to go and chuck myself off a 10-metre board. So sometimes, yes, it is definitely very, very hard, especially mentally.
But your time also, time management is on spot, let's call it, to be able to manage between the two careers.
Oh yes, definitely, it has to be. I work alongside lifestyle advisors and lifestyle coaches, and obviously my personal coach, he helps me plan everything out. So I have to be a year ahead of whatever I'm going to do. So obviously I've planned out final year already with my coach, because we have to. That's what you have to do as an athlete, to be ready for whatever's going to come. And you have to have multiple plans, because nothing goes to plan sometimes. But yeah, definitely you have to be time managed.
Thank you so much, Tia, for being my guest today. It was a pleasure having you, and I wish you all the luck in both of your careers. in your careers, and I'm sure you will be amazing in both of them. And we are proud of you. You represented Great Britain in international competitions, and I'm looking forward to see your path.
Oh, thank you very much. It's been lovely to be on the show. I'm very lucky, so thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. And for you, my viewers, stay with us next week with From London with Love, ALB UK TV.